Welcome to webinar 2, where we'll be walking through the web portal. The goal of this session is to get you comfortable with the system layout and the basic features of the web portal. Our agenda for today that we reviewed in session 1 will be as follows. We'll be demonstrating the standard product features for quality inspection. Feature number 1 that we'll go through is the easy to access repository of quality data. We'll be going through home screen navigation, reviewing inspection locations, different filtering options, and then how to print and send out inspection reports. We'll then move on to the process control piece where we'll talk through some of the mandatory field usage, linked list functionality, as well as some ideas and thoughts around how we can trigger alerts within the system. And then finally, in this webinar, we'll follow up and finish off with the detailed analytics feature that we talked about in webinar 1. We'll be going through the standard analytics dashboards, and we'll review a little bit of the different graph types, how we can filter graphs, and then how you can go ahead and share these graphs throughout the organization. So just as a reminder, we'll be using the information from this page, and today's webinar will focus specifically on the bottom portion of the screen, which is logging into the web portal itself. I will be using the sales account that you see below with all of the same features here, same URL, same username, same password. So what you'll see on my screen is what you'll see when you log into the system itself. So I will go ahead and navigate over to the system where I am already logged in to save us some time, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, bear with me one moment. I'm just bringing this up now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log in to the site. I'm going to go to our Apple demo site here. When you log in, you should see this opening screen. I'm at appledemo.qi.freshcloud.app. The FreshCloud logo here, as well as the background, can all be customized to the customer logo and background that they'd like. And then I'm going to, I have the information saved here, so I'm going to go into my Apple Demo Sales account and go ahead and click Login. So the first screen that will come up here as we're logging in is the latest inspections dashboard. So going along with our first feature of the repository of all quality information, this will return the latest 25 inspections. It will share the date, the location, and location is really the inspection type. So room sample or receiving or pre-harvest. It will share the crop type and then who the inspection was done by. Very, very high level. Some customers find it helpful to just keep this screen open, and as inspections are coming in, they can kind of monitor where things are happening and what crops. Other customers will use another screen that we'll go into shortly here. A couple things to notice on this screen. So on the right-hand portion of the screen, you'll see a series of magnifying glasses. And if you click on any of these, it will go into this particular inspection itself. And then you'll notice you have a couple things up in the upper right. You have a notification tab where frequently different alerts or exports may trigger. You have your logout function. Similarly, you have your toggle up here that will toggle on and off the navigation menu. And then, of course, on the left is your navigation menu. You'll have the site logo at the top left. So because this is a demo account for FreshCloud, we have our logo, but this could be the customer logo here as well. This is the name of the account. So if this was my personal account, it would say Ethan Myers. Since we're on a shared account, this is just the Apple demo sales account. It will confirm what type of user role you have. In this case, we have sales access. Sales access essentially means we have read only or view only on the web portal. So I can't go ahead and edit or add new inspections from this account. So feel free to log into the sales account and click around. You can't edit, change, delete anything on here. So it's a safe environment. And then finally, it will confirm the email that we have for the account here. Underneath this, for the sales, you'll see three main options. You'll see our analytics section, our inspections section, and then finally the traceability section. At any point, if the customer or you want to review the terms and conditions, you can click on them down at the bottom here, and they will pop up. And so let's dive now into the inspection section first. So I will click on this inspections tab, and what will follow are all of the, we call them locations, but realistically it is the inspection type that we're seeing here. On this account, we've configured pre-harvest, receiving, and room sample. But again, this will be based on what your customer wants to see here. So if they're doing packing line, rejection, shipping, additional inspections like that, they would appear on this list as well. So I will go ahead and click on pre-harvest here, and then it will populate all of the different crops that are under pre-harvest. So on this account, it's just apples, but if your customer has apple, peaches, plums, broccoli, blueberry, whatever it may be, they'll see all those listed out below. So as I click on Apple, this will now bring me to the pre-harvest Apple inspection dashboard. So this is one of the main screens on quality inspection that is a huge benefit to the customer, especially if they're used to working in Excel or potentially still pen and paper. They don't necessarily have one area that houses all of their inspections that they can visibly see all of the different data throughout it. All of these columns can be dragged and dropped as well. So on this screen, we have a couple things here. On the top, we have all of our filters. These are customized based on what the customer wants to see and what data fields they have. And then underneath, we have the actual inspection information. Same thing goes for here. All of these columns, we can toggle on and off the different data fields. So just to give an example, if I wanted to find maybe a particular inspection, and maybe it would be for the grower Oren Swift. Typically, a customer may have to search through Excel logs or databases to find it. Here, you can just click on your Oren Swift and hit filter. And now all of the inspections will filter to only that particular grower. And you could put multiple filters on here as well if you wanted. So you could filter by an orchard, a block, a variety if you wanted to. And when you hit that filter button, it will return just those inspections. So I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these inspections. You can see first off that we have our disposition with our pass fail and different color coding. So let's go ahead and let's open up one of these inspections. You'll notice I have three options here. I have the view inspection button. I have the print inspection button, and then I have the traceability button. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the view inspection button. I'll open that up, and you can see here, this is all of the detail for this particular inspection. So this form that we're looking at here, this can be customly created. What we have here is an information section. Then we go into our different defects where you can visibly see the photo, which you can expand to get a better look at. And then you have all of the different external defects that were seen there, and it breaks it out by percentage. This is all information that the inspector themselves is entering in the tablet. So they would have a tablet or their smartphone. They would take this picture on there, and then a screen will prompt them, what defects do you see? They'll enter in the number of fruits, and then this percentage will calculate based on that. We then go down into some of the quality metrics. So we have our starch scoring, pressure, bricks, and then your total acidity. Again, this is a standard template if they're doing different tests, like maybe color, and they're not doing total acidity, we can customize the form for them. You'll notice there are little information buttons here as well. So at a high level for pressure, you're seeing the average, and then below that, the standard deviation, the min, the max, and the count. But if you want to see each individual reading, you can click on this information button, and now you can see exactly what the operator entered into this inspection. Then at the bottom, you can see the total disposition here, which in this case would be fail. And oftentimes there'll also be a note field here where the inspector can, as they're doing the inspection, add a note saying, this is the reason it failed, or, fruit is looking good, or email this to a manager, whatever notes they wanted to enter in. So a couple things with the form itself. If I go on to the top, going into that second feature that we're talking about, which is all around process control. Certain fields we can mandate that the inspector must fill out that field. So for example, the grower, the orchard, the block, the variety, we could select all of those fields to be mandatory, so the inspector physically cannot save this inspection unless they enter in that information. So very important when you think about data integrity and making sure that the inspection is complete and done to the best of the inspector's ability. Second off, what we can do is you'll notice we have a particular grower, which in this case is Orange Swift, and then we have an orchard. This orchard is specific to this grower, and this block is specific to this orchard. So what we can essentially do is if the inspector selects the Orange Swift grower, and then they go to select the orchard, there will be a drop-down list with only the orchards that relate to Orange Swift. And then similarly, if they select Papillon, the only blocks that will be available to be selected are the blocks that are physically at this orchard. Similarly with varieties, we can do that with varieties and blocks. So those type of linked lists that we can do are very helpful when we're thinking about making sure that the inspectors are getting in the right information. The last thing that I'll talk about here with process control is talking about the different alerts that we can create within an inspection. So you'll notice here, this disposition is at a fail. We can do a couple things here. So the most common thing that we'll do for our customers is we'll program this disposition field to, if it is a failing disposition, to automatically send this report to the manager, whether it be of that orchard, that grower, that packing line, whatever it is. They'll give us the email that they want that sent to, or multiple emails. And if something fails, they will immediately get notified via email with all of the inspection details within that email. So no longer will the inspector have to take their time, save that Excel, save that inspection, email it out, text them, go find them in person. We can completely automate that. So I would say that's the most common thing. The second thing that we can do is this field. We can also program this field to score itself. And what I mean by that is if they have a certain specification that they're grading their fruit on, for example, maybe external defects need to be below 5%. If it's above, that should fail. Or if the pressures are below a certain number, fail the inspection. We can program all of that into the system So the inspector doesn't need to score the inspection. They don't have to look at their sheet or know the rules and score it themselves. We can train the system to do that automatically, score it, and then automatically send that email after it's scored to completely automate that entire process, which is a huge benefit for a lot of our customers. Finally, at the bottom, we have the audit section. This simply just shows who the inspection was created by, the date that it was created by, and then the protocol version that this was on. So this is for some audit tracking here. So I'm on the sales account. Let's say I want to print this inspection out and I want to send it out to a potential buyer, let's say, or within the organization. All I need to do here is hit the print icon. The circle will spin in the upper left, letting us know it's generating it. And then what I can do is open this PDF here. So we have the customer logo at the top, the crop, the inspection type, the date, and then all of the information below it with the beautiful pictures that we have here to really show what the quality of that fruit is. So overall, a really slick way and a really quick way for them to quickly, as we showed, search for inspections, find exactly what they want, find what's failing, what's passing, look at the results, email it out, really automating all of that flow through the portal rather than having to dig through a bunch of random Excel files or potentially double keying from pen and paper, into some type of system. So I will navigate now to the room sample portion, just for an example. And we have just a few inspections done here. And what I want to show is the traceability functionality. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this Go to Traceability button. And what this will do is it will bring me to the traceability screen. You can see here in the upper left. And what this will show is it will take that individual inspection number, which is this long string of numbers and letters, and it will essentially trace back what happened to that lot. So you can see here, just from this kind of table chart, we have our room sample that we talked about here. We had one receiving inspection, and then we had a series of pre-harvest inspections where they were looking at this in the field. If we want to see this in more of a timeline view, it makes a little more sense. We can essentially rewind the tape here to see what happened to this lot. Potentially this maybe failed in the room sample, and we want to go back in time and see, did this fruit come in bad, or was this something in the storage itself that led this to fail? On any of these inspections, we can go in and hit See Details, and it will essentially bring up the inspection as well to view that. So that's how our traceability functionality works. It's easiest if you're going in through the inspection view that I showed you here and clicking this button, but you can also manually go into the module as well if you know what you're looking for. Okay, so the final piece of functionality that I'll walk us through is the analytics section. And I'm actually going to switch to pre-harvest here, and this will automatically populate the most recent 3 months of data. And for the sake of this example, I'm just going to open it up to all the info. So this analytics section is customized depending on what the customer wants to see. So typically this will be a conversation with them once we have them set up on the system and they have data and inspections in there. We'll either take a look at their current analytics flow, or if they're starting from scratch, we can build out some of the standard ones and do an iterative approach with them to build out their analytics dashboard. We have the filters at the top as per normal. And then we have a couple of different types of graphs below. So the first one we have is called our scorecard. this essentially takes for the filters what the average is for the particular data field. So for example, the average bricks, the average pressure, the average total acidity, and this is for the pre-harvest location. So you may think, okay, we have 10 different growers, we have a bunch of different crops, uh, a lot of different blocks. Why do I care what the average bricks is across, the entire data set? Well, in that case, what we can do is what we really like to do with this is we kind of treat this as we've called it overall metrics here, but realistically, this is sort of our grower scorecard, we like to call it, which we see a lot of customers use it for. So they may choose a particular grower, they'll hit filter, and now they have for this grower, and maybe they'd filter for a particular month, they could have this grower's grower scorecard for the month of April, let's say. Below your overall metrics, you have your total inspections completed, your kind of pass-fail percentage breakdown, and then you have some charts down here like your starch progression, your pressure progression, external defects, et cetera, et cetera. Again, these are all customized based on what they want to see. You'll notice that some of these look a little crazy. One of the reasons is this is just a test environment, so we have mock data in here, so I wouldn't expect starch to be jumping around so much. But given that this is just test information, the second thing to note is also that there are a lot of different blocks on here. So there's a couple ways that we can filter this data down. So we can either do that up at the top from the filters and just filter for, let's say, a particular block, or we can click on each of these different ones, and we can filter them out to give dynamic view. So if you want to filter, compare two side by side, you can do it that way. And you could do you could filter at the top, let's say for a particular variety. So you can see how that particular variety is doing at two different blocks to see if there's discrepancies or whatnot. So really, really powerful. This is all live. So you noticed if I go here and I change the grower, all of the charts will now update to that grower's information. And as inspections are being completed live, these data analytics will all update. So a very high level look at our overall web portal. Going back to what we reviewed today, we started on our first screen, which really shows the latest inspections. We then went into the different inspection dashboards. We showed you how to open up an inspection, how to create a PDF to be able to save it and send it out, how we can format the different templates to be able to have live alerts, whether it be pass-fail alerts or automatically scoring the inspection. We talked about different data fields being mandatory and being linked to each other. And then we showed various ways to filter through inspections, whether it be on the actual inspection dashboard like so, or if it was going through the traceability functionality to filter it that way. And then finally, we showed the analytics section, high level, showing some of the different types of graphs and charts that we can use, and how we can filter that to do comparisons and create grower scorecards. So again, a very high level view. I encourage everyone to log into this account, just play around with it. This is a great environment to show customers some of the flavor of the system and really how easy it is to bounce back and forth between different pages, different inspections, different analytics. And I think this sets a good foundation for everyone to really understand in our live training sessions what the system can do at a high level and give you a great foundation there so we can build upon that learning. So I appreciate everyone for tuning into this webinar session as well as the first one. It's been a pleasure, and I wish everyone great luck in our live training sessions to come. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye.